Hi, welcome to video number 2 in this series, Menopause for Men. So we're turning this on its head and looking at this from the male perspective. This is not the angiopause, this is about menopause from male perspective. So your partner is experiencing the menopause, or your colleague, or a member of your team. So the first 2 videos are all about menopause at home, and the last 2 videos are all about menopause at work. This is the second video, and in the first video, we talked all about why we're in a position where men and women know very little about the menopause and how to manage it and how to develop their relationship. Today, we're going to be talking about deepening, nurturing, developing your relationship with your significant other, and how to see this as an opportunity. And that's something we just don't think about when we think about menopause. We think of it as all downside. Okay, so as I said in the first video, please feel free to substitute the word partner for mum, sister, auntie, cousin, whatever it may be, and it will work exactly the same. Okay, so we've got 4 easy steps for you to follow today. So we know that women know very little about this. They're struggling to take control of their bodies, and that they are trying to manage not only the negative perceptions of themselves, but also over 40 symptoms. So they may have 1, they may have 30, they may have 5. Who knows? It's extremely unique. There is no set experience. So we also know that it goes on for somewhere on average for between 4 to 8 years, and it's not unusual for those symptoms to go on for over 10. So this is a process that you're going to be going through for some time, which brings us to step number 1, which is always conversation. Conversation is king, queen, duke, duchess, the whole shebang. It's all about conversation. Because this goes on for a long, long time, you will have a lot of conversations. But at the beginning of this process, it is very much about recognizing that you may need to be the one that opens the opportunity for that first chat, those first few chats. So create a situation where you can talk about it. Go for a coffee, go for a walk. It's probably not the thing to do to sort of book a fancy restaurant or to have a 10-course taster menu. That's probably not the time to have a discussion about menopause, because if things get heated or emotional, or you just don't know what to say, then it can quite seriously dampen the mood. And if you find that it's really easy and you can talk about things, then by all means, go round the block again, or, order another coffee and maybe a slice of cake. So create an environment where you can have a light and easy conversation, that you are letting your partner know that you're there to support them however they wish to discuss this. Step number 2, ask how best to support her. Now, this goes on for a long time. I've said this a few times now, and I'll have to say many more as we go through it. If you're offering out support to your partner, A, ensure that you mean it. B, ensure that when it comes back, whatever it is that she wants you to do, that you can do it really easily and really quickly. Because human nature is such that if it is really complicated, or it takes a lot of effort, or you have to stop what you're doing or come home from work or whatever it might be, you're going to do it once or twice, and then it's going to become a real task, instead of it being something that you're happy to do to support this woman. So make sure it's small and easy to do, and it delivers a modicum of support that will enable you to be there for your partner and for her to feel supported by you. The last thing you want to do is to fall at the hurdle after the second or third attempt. So ensure that it is of a type that you can do easily and readily and repeatedly. Okay, step number 3, be prepared to be the one who does the talking. Well, this is divided into 2 sections. So the first section in this point is about family. It can be that in a family environment, your family is equally not a mind reader. They don't know what's going on. And to have a situation where your partner is maybe suddenly behaving unusually or doing something out of character or choosing to be in a different kind of way than they normally would, that it can create a negative conversation around them, or at least some negative background noise. And that's the last thing either of you need. So agree between you that should something occur, that you have authority to go in and talk about it, but also what you can say about it without making her feel uncomfortable or out of place. It's something that you can do just to A, show that you support her, and B, clear the air within those environments and ensure that you're supporting her and not leaving her out to dry, essentially, in front of everybody else. The second part of that point is doing the talking in an environment where your partner needs support. So, because of the nature of menopause, quite frequently women find it very difficult to get support from medical practitioners. And that can mean that they need your support, or at least that you can offer support to go to the GP with them. Now, before you do, there are some really simple things that you can do. Firstly, make a list of what those symptoms are. So what they are, and then when they occur and how they occur. So are they a night or day symptom? Do they always come in the morning? What is it? And do they, are there patterns? Does she have peaks and troughs as far as certain symptoms are concerned? So make a catalogue of that. That will enable you to have an evidence-based conversation with a GP and ensure that she gets support, because it's quite possible that she's been going to the doctor and not being listened to. But with additional support in the room, it's quite possible that suddenly you're going to get that support. And that's the same whether it's whether it would be a friend or whether it would be a partner or another family member. But sometimes when you're feeling completely under-resourced in menopause, you just need someone there to hold your hand and defend your corner. And that's what this is about. Okay, lastly, step 4, looking forward. And this is where the opportunity comes in. So you're showing that you're there to support your partner. You're holding the relationship space for them while they're maybe not so able to meet you halfway. You're there being the one to listen to what's going on and to think about what might be. There is the secret of this. What might be? Because as you go through this, the menopause heralds a new beginning. It is a new start in life. It is most definitely a new start for her, and her hormones will be calling her to take a look at the way that she lives her life, who she lives it with, how she lives it, what she does, all of those sorts of things. So now is the time to sit down and start to think about what it is that the two of you might like to do in maybe 5 or 10 years' time. So start building up a picture of where you'd like to be and what you'd like to be doing and how you'd like to be doing it. And as you do that, you may find that some of those things you can start to do now. That you can put some of the joy back in by starting to create a roadmap or a path to those bigger things that you'd like to do later. Because it's too easy to get involved in just the negative experience rather than seeing this as an opportunity to start to think about the amazing things that you can do as a couple. And therein lies the secret of this, as far as your relationship is concerned, because as she's changing, so will you need to change as well. And as long as you're moving in the right direction together, that means that your relationship will become stronger and more incredible as you go through this. With all of that, if that just feels like something that you can only do at home, yet you're looking at in the office and recognizing that some of what you're seeing at home is happening in the office as well, and you simply don't know how to have those conversations at work. Maybe it's a colleague, maybe it's a peer, maybe it's a team member, and you'd really like to have that supportive conversation, but you just don't know how to have it without maybe causing offence. If that's you, then the next video is all about menopause at work, and we'll be covering all of those subjects. So don't forget, subscribe, please leave a message, and I will see you soon.